Welcome to the interview here. So happy to introduce you to Mr. Paul Moreau. Coming in hot. Wearing his Rock the Boat shirt. Yes, sir. We'll be talking about them for sure.
Yep. Right on. Glad to be here,
Man,
guys.
it's good having you.
Right on. Appreciate all you guys do for the community.
Thank you, man.
Well, we appreciate you.
I watch every episode.
And, well, that's cool. Thank you for
Sometimes
that.
twice.
Nice.
Catching the Sunday replay.
That's right. Yeah.
Without us.
And I know it's because of the sexiness you see on the screen. And
That's how I got hooked.
but thank you.
I used to just watch it on mute.
And we'll get into all these things, but thank you for all the work you've done for being an organizer for so many different shows and events. So we're going to get into all that, but thank you too for everything you do. But yeah, man, Mr. Paul Moreau, Rock the Boat, Thump Daddy, Kiss Show, Merry Kissmas, Tommy Awards, Stagestop Reunion. All this stuff to talk about, and and then we just mentioned it. So, Paul, thanks for being here today.
And the Pete Mendello Celebration of Life, he was there, played in that as well.
That's right, yes. What people don't know is you're also a lawyer, because you were helping us with Jeff Adams' interview.
I actually did
joke.
go to law school, but I didn't finish.
Yeah?
That's
Really?
another story.
It's a joke. If you haven't seen Jeff Adams' interview, it's great. Check it out. But Paul was over to the side and helping with
Giving
remembering dates and stuff.
Yep.
And that's the second time you were sitting off to the side, because speaking of Stagestop Reunion, we had Joe Smith and Jimmy Fulp in here in an intro, and you were off to the side on that one as well. So now we're finally got you in front of the camera, man. It's about time.
Right on.
Are we as sexy in person as we are on this big screen?
Almost.
Do we smell like you would imagine?
I don't know how to answer that.
I don't.
Where did you come in from? We'll start there. Do you live in South Haven? Where do you live?
I live in Hernando now.
Hernander.
Oh, that's right. You did move down here, over towards the Fulps, right?
Yep, pretty close to over there. Yeah,
Very cool.
I did live in South Haven before that, and then my family's from St. Louis, Missouri, which is where I was born, but I grew up in East Memphis.
Welcome to Hernando.
Thank you.
Welcome to 38632.
Yep,
Good to have you.
I've enjoyed it.
You said you're from St. Louis. When did you move out here?
Oh, well, it was when I was very, very young.
Okay, and it was Memphis or the Memphis area.
Yep.
So you've been here all your life, basically.
Basically.
Okay. Did you start playing when you were younger?
Yes, I started. Let's see. I've got several siblings. My oldest brother is somewhat of a musical genius, and so, for instance, he went to college on a full scholarship for music performance and things like that, and he mostly plays classical piano now, but he played flute, clarinet, saxophone. Performance was really his main, this, that. He also played guitar, so I always...
He's one of those guys.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. So, I loved guitar as a kid. I remember, and I know the age I was because I know when we lived there, but I remember listening to Second Helping Leonard Skinner when I was 5 years old, sitting there on the bed. I still just remember that. So I got bit by the bug, at a young age.
Very impressionable if you remember it 60 years later.
Yeah. And I hear you.
He mimicked the laugh. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
But anyway,
I told you we were going to have fun, Paul.
we are having fun. So I started trying to play guitar around, I guess 13 or so, and then I'm left-handed. My brother was right-handed, but that's the guitar I had, so that's what I learned on.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I play today. Although I don't really think it matters after a certain point because you
just trained from the beginning. Because how old were you when you really started playing the guitar? You were 5?
No. I started playing when I was about 13.
Okay. So,
and then I really started playing when I was about 15 or so, as far as spending a lot of time
Same here.
on
That's
things
exactly
like
my kind of timeline.
Yeah.
But there was no way I would be able to learn, left-handed being right-handed. I wouldn't have been able to do the flip at all.
It's never really crossed my mind. So,
And there's some guys out there that they're left-handed and they flip around the right-handed guitar and don't restring it.
I know.
Have you seen those?
It's insane.
Freaks. That's wild.
Not me.
I've seen a bass player do that as well, which is just bizarre to me. But Leonard Skinner's your first kind of slap in the face, but what is that first band that you really started gravitating to? Would it be Kiss?
No, the thing about Kiss is I really wasn't a Kiss guy.
Okay.
As a kid, one of my other brothers really liked them, but I was very much more. Led Zeppelin was really my band when I was a kid, ultimately, but just all the stuff that was classic rock, so Boston and Aerosmith and Cheap Trick and all that.
Back when it was modern music,
Right?
Yeah, just some of it, just about. Yeah.
Man.
But it was really Jimmy Page and then Eddie Van Halen that got me. I don't think I'm the only one in that camp.
No. He's influenced a few.
Edward comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Edward.
Those were the super big two for me at an earlier age, and then Richie Blackmore, which you don't hear people talk about as much. I'm sure you guys know. Rainbow,
Yes.
Which to me,
Deep Purple.
Yeah, and Rainbow. And then of course Randy Rhoads. Kind of the typical. I mean, those are all gods, of course.
Yes.
But it was really Jimmy Page and Eddie Van Halen that got me. I got to do this. I really,
When did you start playing with other people?
So in high school, we kind of tried some little bands or whatever. Nothing, I'm talking more probably 10th grade. Nothing really ever went anywhere. And then when I was a senior in high school, I got in my first, what I consider a real, who am I supposed to look at?
It's like a tennis, back and forth.
Yeah.
Real real garage band that got started, and so that was
over here, Paul.
And so Jeff, that was.
Hey, I asked the question, Paul. No, you talk to me.
Back to you. All right. So Patrick O'Daniel, who still plays today, he plays currently in Super 5, Island 45. He's done.
He was part of the Kiss show, the 50th anniversary.
Yeah. He's been involved in a lot of different stuff, and he's a super guy, amazing. He's one of those bass players that never played guitar at all. Which a lot of times people transition. So Jeff Adams, same way. I've felt like some of the best bass players I know are the kind that never even picked up a regular guitar. I'm a bass guy.
I guess I suck then, Paul.
No, not at all. It doesn't mean
you come in here throwing shade in the first 5 minutes.
Throwing shade.
Is that what you do?
It wasn't about you. No.
The Fulps warned us about you. I'm just kidding. They didn't. I know they're loving this.
Yeah. So Patrick O'Daniel, and then the drummer, you guys I don't think will know the name unless you know it otherwise, and that was Mark Graney. So Mark is actually now a globally, wildly successful author. You may remember the Netflix movie The Gray Man from a couple years ago.
Great movie.
So Mark is a self-made global success.
Okay.
That movie is based on the first of his series called the Gray Man series, and at the time probably still stands. It was the biggest budgeted movie Netflix ever had.
Yeah.
So he's written a number of Thomas Clancy books.
No shit.
All kind.
Wow.
I mean, it's insane the success he had. And I remember in high school him literally having handwritten manuscripts and saying, "Tell me what you think about this." And it was always, we used to tease him and say, "This is that global espionage stuff you like," and that's what he does. It's kind of like a cross between James Bourne and or Bourne and Bond.
Jason Bourne.
Yeah, Jason Bourne and Bond. That's what I always say. But yeah, he's a wildly successful
and had it at a young age.
So,
it was just kind of natural.
Sounds. Well, his parents were great, and that was, bless their hearts, where we rehearsed. But his father was the general manager for Channel 5 WMC in Memphis for his career. And of course, times have changed at that time. Television, local television news, I'm saying, was probably the most powerful media that there was.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. You didn't have the
pre-internet.
And all that.
Yep.
And newspapers still important too. But I think that's a lot of where Mark got his global awareness.
And radio too. Everything's automated now. Nothing's live.
Mostly.
The DJs, for the most part, aren't really allowed to say what they want. It's all super scripted. Back then, people listened to the radio because of the hosts, and the hosts had their own identity and their own personality.
Yep. Yeah, and like I have a subscription to Sirius still, but I'm not I don't need to call in and request some song. It's really the content people like Eddie Trunk, or Howard Stern. That's the only reason I really have subscriptions. To your point, is to me, the only reason to listen at this point is content, because you can listen to anything else you want anytime you want.
It's all on demand now.
Yep.
It's a demanding world, isn't it?
Yep.
From there, what do you do? Like by this
Yeah,
time, how old are you at this point?
17. And so what I was going to say about that is, so we had it was a garage band. It was actually in his bedroom though, but we knocked around for probably a year, just the three of us, and it was a combination of, I knew how to play, but it was still really learning how to play. But we were trying to tackle Rush and and things like that. And I mean, I'm sure
I still don't try to tackle Rush.
yeah, and I'm sure we didn't end up doing a great job, although Patrick probably did. But I learned some, because I immediately went from, here's a C chord and here's a G chord, to, okay, let's talk about modal scales and natural harmonic minors and this and that. So it was a great learning ground for me. So we did that for about a year, and then at the time, I sing now. At the time, I didn't. Nobody did. So he started, we need a singer so we can have a real band. And so we went through a number of different people. We actually had Ken Houston was in it for a period of time.
Go.
And then we started playing like little parties and things like that. And then we ended up, which must have changed names 5 times. I mean, it was called Thrust for a while, which ended up being a Stagestop.
Yeah.
Bigger band. Nothing to do with that. That's just what.
Right. Thrust was David Flexer.
Yeah.
And Tracy Rubel.
Yes. And Ty Crook and Billy Little.
Me and Jeff are a team over here.
Yeah. That's great.
I can't believe I got 2 of them.
Yeah. And so then, and speaking of that, in those days, I went to the Stagestop, a fair amount. And I played at the Stagestop a number of times, but I never really was in like a Stagestop band, if you will. Yeah. And we ended up going more like the frat band route. So we had this agency, and for the most part, it was called Bad English. You guys may know that name too, because there was a Neil Sean band that not shortly after that came out. And
John Waite.
Yeah.
And you're like, great.
Yeah.
We gotta change. Did you
the
try
name?
suing them? Hey, no. This is our name.
Yeah. No. Jimmy Fault may try suing.
Hey, yo.
I know Jimmy.
You know about that, right?
I know he has a good friendship with Neil Sean.
Yeah.
They love
Maybe
one
he
another.
should try to resurrect that.
It's a bromance.
But we did a lot of colleges all around, and it was the frat music that was popular at the time and all that.
What would be the frat music that was popular?
So REM.
Okay.
And the Cult.
Okay.
The techno
a lot of that,
pop
a lot of that. And at that point, still, believe it or not, like some Beatles music and things like that was around. Although I think I'm not saying people don't like the Beatles, but I don't think they're. When's the last time you heard a cover band around town play Beatles song?
Yeah. Rarely. I thought you were going to shit on the Beatles for a second there.
Don't do that.
And I was ready to turn your mic off.
He's just saying that it's not widely listened to, I think, at this stage.
Listen to, no, I disagree with that. I mean, they're huge. Oh,
of course. No, it's probably the most important rock band of all time.
Yes,
right?
but bands covering Beatles, I mean, it come together.
Yeah.
You're going to hear that. You're going to hear some of the things, but I don't hear people really doing a whole lot.
Anyway, so did that, and then I kind of started and stopped some with music, and so like I mentioned, I went to law school for a while, so I actually didn't play for like a couple years during that period because it's extremely intensive.
I would gather,
yeah. And then I was trying to remember what happened from there, but just to give you a smattering, so there was a band that we had called Whiskey Dog that had Bobby Ireland, Chris Turnbow. Did you guys know Chris?
I know Chris.
He moved to Vegas years ago now.
Yep.
And then Kenny Miller. Do you guys know Kenny Miller?
I don't.
He's in Nashville now.
Okay.
He was in Play Rough.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the bass player in Play Rough.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. I heard he had moved out there.
Yeah. So we put this band together called Whiskey Dog, and it was shockingly kind of Southern rock, and then just classic rock focused, and played around and this and that. It didn't do a lot, but it's not a wedding band. It's not really a party band. We just wanted to do it, And
not many brides are going to hire a Whiskey Dog.
Right. And then, although there is a band in Las Vegas called Whiskey Dogs, I think now that does pretty good. But also the landscape has changed dramatically. There just weren't that many there's a lot more venues right now to play in for bands than there were right then.
Yeah.
So we were mostly playing, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like we would be driving out to Millington and stuff like that. You didn't have Hadley's. Neil's might have been at Midtown. Lafayette's wasn't reopened, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So we did that for fun. And then from that, Bobby got in Aquanet. And then maybe a year later or so, he ended up pulling me into that.
Oh, I forgot. That's right. You were in Aquanet.
Yeah. So I did that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. The note you gave me was, "Is he cool?" Was that your name?
We all, and they still do that.
Cool spelled Kewl.
Yeah, IZZYKEWL.
Cool. Is he cool?
Is he cool or is he not? So I did that for several years, and that band's been going over 20 years for sure. And the guys that originally started it were all going to Ole Miss together. They actually started it there, and they kept going with it. The lineups. I think they're down to.
You got Johnny Lamb on drums now.
Yeah, I think they're down. I think there's only two people that were originally in it, which is Doug Comfort on the keys, and then Jay McNeil is the singer.
Yep.
But I did that for several years.
Were you with them by chance?
Enough to play "Sweet Child of Mine" 10,000 times. But
were you with them by chance 2011?
Maybe.
Because I just moved out here.
Okay.
And from Nashville, it was Horn Lake was my first stop, and what was the name? The Boiling Point.
Yeah, I played at the Boiling Point,
and I saw this new band to me, Aquanet. Wow, these guys are cool, and and it's like a tribute and everything. And the guitar player, maybe you, had a wall of Marshalls behind him, but only one was real. It was like empty boxes. Yeah. I think it might have been two double stacks.
I know that was. I think his name's John.
Okay, that wasn't you.
He was Yngwie Malmsteening it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, right.
He was the next guy after me.
Okay,
because they've had a lot of changes over the years. But yeah, I remember seeing that.
It was awesome. I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I forgot he did that. I think it was a bunch of fronts that he just manufactured or something. I forgot how he did it.
Yeah, there's only one real cab in there, I'm sure. I'm guessing. I mean, there's no way he brought in two double stacks to the Boiling Point.
No. Yeah, but good guys, and we're still, I'm still friends with all those guys.
Yeah, they're still out there. I mean, they play mostly Lafayette's, it seems.
Yep. And then I know they played the Peabody this year.
Okay.
I think they're just doing more occasional.
Did both your bands play at the Rooftop?
Yeah, Thump Daddy and Rock the Boat both played this year. And it's a great gig. It's a good visibility gig.
Yeah.
The turnouts are good as long as the weather's good. It's one of the toughest load-ins.
I know.
Maybe the toughest location load-in in town.
I've had the pleasure of playing there one time with my boys, Mudflap King, Chip and Chip, shout out. And the load-in is a nightmare. Yeah. I mean, it makes Spinal Tap look easy. Their shit. And then the Ducks. Right? Yeah. Then the Ducks. I don't know if they did this for you guys, but when we did it, it was literally in the contract that at this certain time, the Ducks are going to be walking across the roof and all sound has to be shut off.
It was in there.
No sound check. Yeah. And they rolled out a red carpet.
Yeah.
And they had the Duck Walker guy.
Yep.
They did the same thing for you. So that's God, it must be a decades-long tradition.
If a duck can't carry a kick drum, I don't want to see him.
That was so Southern too. I don't want to see him.
Hey, every now and then.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, this is pretty damn Southern.
You're the only you need one I need to talk to.
So I've always been, so of course when I was a kid and all that, things have changed, but everybody wanted to be a rock star, right? Mm-hmm. I did too, but I just was always, I never really I'm just not going to work and I'm going to play in clubs and I'm going to live in my car. And I don't know. I just wasn't willing to do all that. So I love music. And I remember in college, I think I probably practiced my instrument thousands of hours. When I was in high school, I took music theory. When I was in college, I took classical guitar for a couple of semesters and had instruction for several years and things like that. I mean, I was dead serious about it, but I wasn't.
You wanted to work, but you didn't want to take that huge sacrifice in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've kind of just been, and that's probably part of the reason we'll talk about some of those. I've ended up doing projects and things like that. But I was just going to mention Led Zeppelin. It's a Led Zeppelin tribute band. And so they kind of went through, they had one version of it and they went through some.
Who else was in it?
Well, so when I was in it, Trip Gintz was the bass player.
Okay.
And then he actually plays in Hairspray Nation now.
Was this a band that had the Petrangelo?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Chris Petrangelo
Yes.
was the singer. And so what we did was...
I would never be able to say that last name.
Yeah, you guys would have really liked it. We wore full costumes and all that stuff. I mean,
Really?
I literally have a black dragon suit with...
And you said you were Jimmy Page was your guy.
Yeah, it was, it was still a bunch of work because I wanted to do it. But I mean, that is like... probably more straight up in my wheelhouse than anything else is that style of playing, hard rock playing. Did that for a couple years, and they had done it with a couple other guys for prior, and then there was some kind of,
were you part of the formation of it?
No, I came in like the second round, but we got to do some cool stuff. We played at Italian Festival, things like that. So
I know you went through the names, but who was the singer covering that
Chris
stuff?
Petrangelo.
Okay, so he was the singer.
Yeah, which you gotta, I mean, I could send you guys video. I wish he just nails it.
I mean, you got to have a voice.
I saw some videos.
Yeah, and the look.
He was terrific.
Yeah, to me, if you don't have a guy that can do that, just don't even.
Was it all
do
album
it.
key?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yep. All original key. There was never a song that we couldn't do because Chris couldn't do it. And I'll tell you one of the really fun things that we did was we played at Fall Fest, which it was called St. Anne. It was at St. Anne Fall Fest one year. And I connected with the school music director, and we actually worked on, the kids did, a band accompaniment to Stairway to Heaven at our performance.
That's cool.
What do you mean? What? Say that again.
So when we played Stairway to Heaven, you had the kids band, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders seated in front of us.
Cool. Nice.
And then
So you had your own full orchestra.
Yeah. And so he originally wanted to have them play the entire song with us, but it ended up being more bit off than they could choose. So they did pieces, the intro, the ending, some things like that.
They could have done Kashmir too.
Yep.
That would have been a good one.
That would have
For
been
sure.
awesome.
For sure. So, but that was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And cool for the kids.
Yes.
Yeah, think about that.
Yes.
So who came after that?
I actually started in Thump Daddy before that.
So there's overlap.
Yeah. So Thump Daddy, I joined, I guess it was 5 years ago, which the band's celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year. There's a free party that we're having at Delta Blues Winery, but it'll have already happened by the time the show.
Yeah,
So
we're off by like a week and a half.
Yeah. So that's cool. And I've been in it, I guess, for 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah. And then it was.
How did that come to be?
Well, so they had David Smith, was a guy that was playing guitar, and then I think he didn't want to, Thump Daddy stays pretty darn busy, and I think he didn't want to play as much. So Chris Good, who's in Sold Out, for instance, now, they were sort of splitting time, and then Chris wanted to step away, and that's where I came in initially as part-time with David.
But how did you know the other guys in the band?
I think it was through Chris Cook.
So he introduced you to them, and you auditioned, and
Yep.
yeah,
and that was kind of a funny story because I didn't have a digital modeler at the time, like a Helix, where what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And they didn't tell me that's what they use.
Okay.
So I show up at rehearsal or my tryout, whatever, sorry. And I had my amp and all that. And they're like, well, we can't connect you into the. So I literally ended up playing like straight into the board for my audition with, not the effects I suck without effects and I'm great with them. You know what I mean? But still, no sound of any.
Guitar players love their rig.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you imagine a guitar that's not even plugged in, but turning it up, it just sounded horrible.
So they do this because it's all in ears, right? They want in ears. You're listening to some tracks and no stage volume, no bass.
Right.
Amp.
Sometimes, we have a bass amp, and sometimes, which I prefer it, we bring monitors because if you don't, then the people that are close to the stage, they're not, if they're in front of the front of house, they're not really, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah, it's been great. And, as we talked about, I'm very much more a rock player, but I've always liked and respected, to me, particularly the 70s. I mean, everybody bemoans that of a certain age as far as because it's just different. The songwriting was different.
Right.
The level of playing was generally different, etc. So a lot of that classic disco, for example, it's not necessarily that hard, but it's a different type of playing and a different type of chords and a different type of scale. So I love that stuff.
It's my
really
favorite
fun.
shit to play as a bass player.
Right.
I don't,
yeah, the bass.
It's not my favorite stuff to listen to, but when it comes to a gig, if I get to play a bunch of disco stuff, it's going to be a fun night.
Yep. So that I love doing that in particular.
And Thump Daddy is very much a dance band.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, you guys strive to make it every song danceable, like
100%.
dance floor, every song.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's a machine, and it's gotten. Not all saying thanks to me, but it's won like best band, Memphis Flyer, this, a bunch, a whole bunch, and it's Greg. I think Verrett conceived it.
Bass player.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then Shara Matlock, and Steve Rody's a singer. Mike McClenny's a drummer. I think Mike's been in it the whole time.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tom Slagle plays keys and sax. He hasn't been in the whole time, but he's been in a long time. But it's a. And you guys already know that, but it's a lot of hard work.
Yep.
And
to do this stuff.
It just hit me, Jeff. We gotta give Paul a little shit here because
again.
Yeah, that's right.
Again.
It's not the last. Early on in the show, me and Jeff are going out, trying to shake hands and network and just go see bands, and then we go see Thump Daddy at Dan McGinnis.
Yeah.
And hey, you guys want to come up and play? And this badass dance band doing all this great stuff. They're like,
yeah.
Tennessee Whiskey?
Yeah.
And me and Jeff were like, okay,
yeah,
Tennessee Whiskey
we'll
is.
do it.
Do you remember that?
Very rarely played by anyone.
Right.
That's requested.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Sure.
that was a fun night.
It was fun. It was probably the only song you could have asked me to play that I would have known.
But it was very nice of you to call us up like
Yeah,
that.
well,
We took a great big photo on the stage with the whole band and me and Jeff.
So much fun.
I'm kidding when I'm saying give you shit.
Oh.
But we're grateful for that. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And early on, with me and Jeff doing this stuff, so we show up, and it was just surprising that you guys kind of already knew us. And then to invite us up on the stage, it was a really cool night. It was fun. Yeah, it was a good time. So you guys do a lot of private gigs, right?
Yep.
So that's when you're people that have a little more money.
Yep.
They're paying more money for these things, and it's a testament to what the band is, for sure.
I agree. Yeah. We played at Garner Lake last night. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. It's a neighborhood in Lakeland. It's an amazing place. It's a private. That's why people don't know about it. It's a private lake, basically, and only the neighborhood and residents. But
Good turnout?
Always, yeah. People in this lake, I don't know what the acreage would be. It's not huge. It's not small, but they only allow so much speed. So it's not like ski boats and things like that.
I got you.
It's
pontoon boats.
Yeah.
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 See there?
I
contribute to the show every now and then. Pontoon boats.
But it's really fun because they
Shut up,
they used to do it where the bands would literally play on a boat. On a pontoon boat. You would load all your stuff onto this pontoon boat. They float it out in the middle of the lake, anchor it.
Wow.
And then the boats would circle around it. And then they decided, I think probably for the best, that for potential legal liability reasons.
Especially if alcohol's involved, you don't want anybody falling off in the water.
Yeah.
Or equipment falling off into the water.
Yeah. So they built a stage next to the lake now, and that's where we play. But
Very cool.
Yep.
So a lot of boats out there just hanging out, drinking their beers. Chilling. That's awesome. That sounds like a great time. Do you guys? Is this like an annual thing you do with them?
Well, they do.
Multiple
They do a
a year?
series, yeah. So, Rock the Boat's played there at least once. Stump Daddy's probably played there a few times, but they've let's see, Twin Souls played there.
So when does the moment come where now Rock the Boat is formed?
So Rock the Boat, going back to what we were talking about 70s music and everything. I've always loved yacht rock, even though I'm traditionally a hard rock guy, but I've always liked other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just have. And I always love the yacht rock stuff. So it was something that I started talking to Jimmy Fulp about it.
Okay.
And before
Hey, yo.
before the COVID shutdown, we started talking about it. And actually, Jimmy Fulp, Chris Cook, myself, Tom Slagle from Thump Daddy, and it was actually going to be Trip Gintz, although maybe Jeff Adams. as a wild card. We're going to do it. And we actually got together and rehearsed a couple times. And then we were working on it. But then remember when the COVID shutdown happened? It was literally like, don't go anywhere. Don't do anything.
What was this?
The COVID shut.
I'm just fucking.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was just sorry.
Yeah. So it just kind of put the brakes on everything.
Well, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
It was
For like a
awful.
year or whatever it
Yes.
was, 18 months. I don't know. Such a weird time.
Oh,
It was
I
bizarro
would like to
world.
just wipe it from my memory completely.
Bizarro
It
world.
sucked.
Yeah.
Yep. So then it was kind of one of those things where we kind of put the pause on everything because everything was paused. And then by the time things thawed out, it just, I don't know, people ended up.
Go another direction.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Jimmy Falk and Chris Cook. So
Yeah.
who's playing
Chris-
drums? Who's singing?
Jimmy was going to drum and sing. Chris was going to play the guitar
Oh,
and
and
sing.
be more
like
up
rhythm
front.
guitar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I ended up pulling the people that we have now, basically.
hmm
Yeah.
So COVID kind of goes away. Things start building back up. And now let's talk about who's in the band.
Besides myself, it's Greg Verrett and Tom Slagle. So there's some
Yeah.
overlap. And then Ronnie Knight on drums, which is he's another amazing drummer
Yep.
around town.
Vanessa.
And then Vanessa Sudbury. We had Emily Hamerlin was her name, was the initial singer, and then
Okay.
she's a doll. She's great. She moved out of state.
And then Steve is in
And then
both
Steve
bands.
Roding.
We forgot him
Yeah.
talking Thump Daddy, didn't we?
No, we mentioned
we
it.
didn't.
I got it. I got him
Paul,
there.
Paul mentioned it.
I'll shut up.
Yeah. No, you good. I got him there.
But yeah, so he
So-
came over. So you got, including yourself, 4 people from Thump Daddy.
Yeah.
Me, Greg. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah, it's a bunch.
But it turns out to
So-
be a great thing because you guys do a lot of double billing too.
Yeah, we've done a fair amount of that. It's great to be able to play twice, but because as you
Absolutely.
know, all the work's in the setup and the teardown.
And actually, the weekend I was talking about, Jeff, where we sat in with them, I believe
The next night.
the next night was going to be a rock the boat.
Yep.
So the PA could stay. I remember it was like a full weekend.
Oh yeah, Demigus. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've done that several times.
Yeah, you own the weekend.
Yep.
But that's helpful. Basically the drums is what gets the big part that gets replaced, but the whole PA and everything just stays, right?
Yep.
Whose PA is that? Who's is that?
Greg.
Greg.
Primarily, yeah.
He's in both bands, so both bands luck out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you guys bring quite the drum riser to your show.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, thank
what
you.
an amazing setup, man.
That
The thing
is
weighs a ton.
I bet.
amazing. It has its own trussing, and
Yeah.
I wish I could go back and relook at the stage setup you had at Dan McGinnis, not the biggest stage in the world.
No.
Yeah.
And it's what, a 7-piece band, right?
Six or seven.
And with that massive drum riser in there. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, what time do you show up to set up for something like this for a 9 o'clock start?
2 p.m.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean, believe it or not, kind of depends on the situation. If it's easy load in or whatever, probably hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
wow,
that's all.
not- Now,
Yeah.
on that weekend, did Ronnie Knight get to play on the same riser?
Yeah.
Okay, so you left the riser up there too for
Uh-huh.
the weekend.
We have a different facing for it with the
That's
other
cool.
band name. Yeah.
I just think it's neat that you all collectively work around the schedules because that must get conflicting at some point, right?
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But we use apps, an app called Slack, which is a
Oh yeah. I know
very
Slack.
yeah. There's
I know
others,
Slack
but that's that because I've told some people. I think like Sean Few. I think he probably still does. And I was like, Sean, you need to start using one of these apps instead of having this group text drive you out of your mind. You never know.
Yeah. So you mentioned yacht rock. Explain to us what you consider yacht rock. What kind of artists are part of that?
So I would consider yacht rock to be smooth, basically smooth pop from. I think the textbook definition is actually like 1978 to 1983, something like that. So yeah. So and it would include
Christopher Cross.
absolutely.
Okay.
Christopher Cross. It would include, but we don't necessarily actually play all these, and I'll get to that in a second. But like Christopher Cross, Doobie Brothers is huge.
Okay.
Of course, Michael McDonald
I love him.
was involved in just about every yacht rock song there ever was.
Yeah.
Steely Dan.
Yeah.
I would say Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
Captain and Tennille.
No, not to me.
That name
It's
came to me.
all these it's all these groups that had amazing songs with amazing vocals. Little River Band, Ambrosia,
Okay,
things
yep.
like that. Now, that was my original intention was to say true to every song we do is like a true yacht rock song. Now we've ended up evolving it some because the problem is, as great as it is, it's a very mid-tempo genre. Very.
Right.
So do you want to try to be a performance band that people kind of just sit back and watch, or do you want? So we've ended up sticking with songs from that era, but not necessarily only yacht rock songs.
Yeah, so you add in some of the dancier stuff.
Right.
Is there some overlap between Thump Daddy set list and Rock the Boat? No, you guys.
No.
You guys go out of your way to make sure this is completely split and different, which is smart.
Yeah. Now sometimes, mostly just at a private event, if they, have requests on certain stuff, we'll go ahead and fly them in there or whatever. And we have a couple times done it at like regular public ones, but we try to avoid that so that you have separation.
Well, while we're on Rock the Boat, we do have a date that we can talk about, which you'd already heard, the audience, you've heard this in the intro, but you're playing in my neck of the woods down here in Hernando, Thursday, September 19th. It's called Hometown Headliners. Every Thursday in September, we have live music in front of the square, and I pulled you in. We got Rock the Boat in there. And you guys are going to kill it. People are going to really like you guys.
Thanks, yeah. And if you haven't been to that, and I'm not just saying that because Derek's sitting here, it's a great event.
Yeah.
It draws really good crowds, and it's just a family atmosphere, and they have food trucks. You just bring your cooler and chair and hang out. I've been to it a bunch of times. Love it.
Yeah. So you mentioned like the mid-tempo-ish and people just kind of hanging back. That's what you're going to get there. It's very chill and a lot of kid-friendly.
Yeah. Yep.
The Arts Council handles the Hometown Headliners, Jeff, and I was able to finagle my way in to help them with the bands, and I hooked you all up because I thought you guys would be a great fit. Be awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So come on out.
Cool.
September 19th, Hometown Headliners. Rock the boat. Rocking that boat. All right, let's. What do you want, Jeff? You seem like you want to go somewhere.
I'm just listening. I'm thinking. I'd kind of like to go to the Tommy Awards. I know that's a big deal, and Paul has had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, so tell me a little pre-story on how the show became what it was, but there's a pre-story on the name. So tell us more about Tommy. Okay,
so let me tell you about Tommy. And so the Tommy Awards was named in honor of Tommy Peters, and Tommy Peters, I may not say this exactly right, but basically what I do know is Lafayette's was open for just a couple of years in the early 70s. You may have heard that. And on the second year, I showed this montage because my friend Patrick works at the library. You wouldn't believe the people that came through Lafayette's in that era.
Right.
It was either up-and-comers or those back on the way down. But kids played there. You guys, Bob Seger played there. Barry Manilow played there. Billy Joel played there. I mean, it's shocking.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know that Tommy had a big hand in basically driving the reopening and resurge of Lafayette's. Okay. And then he had passed away, so it was named in his honor. So the way it came to be is an idea I had to, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we had an award ceremony celebrating all these hardworking local bands around town, because there wasn't anything. And I think it would be cool to make it like a Grammy Award, a black tie kind of thing, and make it dress up and fun and, like a cool event, not just some bands playing.
And it brings everyone together.
Yeah. And I remember there was no names, a person or two that were like, well, that's just going to drive divisiveness. I was like, I don't think that's the case.
And it never did, right?
No. Yeah. But I, being the business guy I am, I literally put together some PowerPoint slides. I mentioned it to Julian, Sally, and Cindy Wilson, who were at Lafayette's at the time. And then they said, yeah, come to our manager meeting. And I think they were surprised because I literally thought through a lot of, this is what this will be. This is how it'll work. These are kind of some of the key things we need. This is what I envision is, at least at the high level, and went through it on PowerPoint slides and all that. And they loved it and got squarely behind it. And a ton of people did a ton of work on that. Cindy Wilson is an absolute workhorse.
Yep.
But on the event itself, so just briefly, just like I said, it was an awards event. So we would do categories like the best new band or the best country band or whatever, and then you'd have staff favorite, this, that, lifetime achievement, what have you. So there was a huge amount that went into it as far as the production, Which Thomas Halfacre played a big part in a lot of the production. Keith Lau and his son worked like the audio and video, like the during show stuff. And then both of the years that we did it, Sean Few and Shara Matlock were the co-hosts with Joe Smith as the MC. So it went extremely well. They would have sponsors and have a different beneficiary. It changed the 2 years. Yep. And then we were planning on doing year 3 this year, and we had just a couple of meetings on it, but there's the Lafayette's ownership has changed, and I think they still had some interest, but it's just a little bit challenging time because the amount of change going on.
Sure.
It's a lot of work, like you said, and the
huge amount of work.
The prior people had such a huge hand in it.
Yeah, huge hand in it. That's what I'm saying. And I mentioned the few that I did, but there's tons of people involved. Julian played a huge role in his connections to get.
So as far as you know, it's not happening this year?
I know it's not.
You know it's not happening this year.
Okay. It's not.
Just checking.
But I remember you also had like a red carpet, right? I don't know if there was actual carpet down there, but it was the same thing where everyone would get like a cool shot with a backdrop as they're walking in. Is that how that worked? How did the photo shoots work?
Yeah, they did a black carpet to make it more rock and roll, and that's another category that Cindy did all this work, getting all the decorations and all of that. But yeah, they had professional photography and the whole 9 yards.
You should start an award show for podcasts, Paul.
I should, but there'd only be one in it.
That suits us.
So we're working our way towards the big Kiss anniversary show, but prior to this, you had a thing called the Merry Kissmas. And tell us more about that and how long that was going for.
Yeah, so the Merry Kissmas, everything I get involved with does 2 years.
And then dies? What happens, Paul?
Also 2 years. But Merry Kissmas, that was, I guess I brought it to Rick Hale. I think we kicked it around some jointly, but
correct me if I'm wrong, he owned Hadley's at that point?
Yeah, or was involved in the ownership partnership that they had. I don't really know every detail, but yeah. Sure. But he'd have a big drive every year. I guess actually still does, called Christmas for the Kids. Yep. And as a fundraiser for that, we came up with this idea to, hey, let's have a ticketed event. What we did was we'd have a handful of bands. Like I think the first year we had like 10 or something, and then the second year
10 bands?
I think so.
But this was a multi-night event.
No.
One, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
10 bands in one night?
I think so. I sent you guys the images of the flyers if you want to bring them up.
I downloaded them. I got them.
It may not be quite that many. Something like that, though. And they would play just a short amount, like 3 songs, something like that. And then the year 2, which it worked fine. It's a tribute, actually, just like the Tommy Awards. They both... the Tommy Awards ran like that. So did these, but it's, if all the bands show up and know what they're supposed to do and all that, then it can work like that. If you think about it, it's pretty amazing.
Did some people not paint up, or was everyone in makeup? Or
it was a mixture.
Sort of like the Kiss show at
Lafayette's. Yeah. It was a mixture.
I'm sure Sean came
of course,
loaded with blood. And
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean's the biggest Kiss fan I know.
Yeah.
He's got some competition, I know, like Jimmy Fulp, but... Sean takes cake.
Hey, yo.
So anyway, so it was very successful. And then the second year we cut it to, I think, about 6, and then had each one play longer, which either way worked. But I think that was probably even better to give people a little chance to stretch out on it.
But the coordination involved with all of that, getting all the bands in line, all the musicians and songs and order, like, were you part of all that? Were you the one?
I was that.
You were that. Own it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Same for Tommy Awards. Tommy Awards, I had this Excel sheet that's probably like 200 lines showing exactly who's on stage, who's off stage, what's up next, who's next.
Nice.
Someone has to do it in order for it to come to fruition.
Yeah, for that one. Yeah, no, the Merry Kissmas not nearly so involved. But yeah. And then I did a lot of work on the artwork and things like that.
Well, Paul, while we're in the Kiss mode here from Merry Kissmas, let's now shift over to the awesome 50th anniversary celebration of Kiss performing at Lafayette's. It was epic. We already had Thomas Halfacre on here, so we covered a lot of the staging stuff, the amazing Kiss light and sign and everything. But I would love to now talk about this with you. Because you're on the stage the whole night. You were the only person that stayed the entire time as Ace Frehley. I'm going to throw a picture up. You did a great job. your playing, your look. It was awesome. But then also, much like all these stories we're telling, you're the man behind so much of this organization or the collaboration and coordination of these things. So, thank you for doing that. What was the spark that kind of started this idea?
Thomas Halfaker.
Yeah, there he is.
It was Thomas's idea.
Cool.
To do.
I should remember this. He told us this probably, Jeff.
That's fine.
I've slept since then. So
yeah, and he had, and you guys know how I get about doing fun stuff like that. So he had mentioned that he was thinking about doing something months and months before we really got into it.
And I remember this now because he made it very clear. He came to you and he was like, "Don't do anything yet."
I remember that.
Don't start yet. That. Don't start yet.
Yeah,
because he knew that you were just then be like a Spitfire and just go for it. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But then I think he said this too. But we did a couple of Tommy Award planning meetings for this year, and I asked him about it in one of those, and then he was like, "All right, fine." So
nice impression. I like that.
I didn't have to do all that much of that. I mean, I basically made a bunch of the calls for the bands and then suggested a song list and organized a lot of that. That's what I did with that, and then played in the house band too.
And
so
you were there for the entire evening,
pretty much. Yeah, cool. There were just a couple people came up for encores that were. I think didn't Charlie Bell come up, people like that.
He was called up. And Scott Sudbury came up, and there was a bunch of guitar players that came up. But I remember you playing every song. No,
almost. There were a couple cases.
Really?
Because we had some of the guests just sang. Some of the guests played guitar. In the cases where they play guitar, Seth and I basically split out. So for instance, he played on the Josh Haynes songs. I played on the Scott Sudbury songs.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
And then Nick Ireland came up. Did you play with Nick?
No, because he had Nick playing, and he
so
we did a little swapping out.
You left such an impression on me, Paul. I just felt like you were up there the whole time.
But probably 80%.
Yeah, for sure.
Seth 80%, and then so forth. Jimmy and Ronnie, I guess, did.
But it moved along. Like it was just on point.
Yep, and that's that same old. Help everybody understand what they're supposed to do, and and a lot of that. I mean, all these events we've talked about. It's a tribute. You guys already know that and that's really why we're here, right? But I mean, the quality of people and the quality of players is just so strong, and it makes it really easy.
The Pete Mondello celebration of life that, as we record this, was just a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Went off without a hitch. Mr. Jeff Ward played role as Paul Moreau for that. So he did a great job.
Couldn't be happier with everybody that participated. They just showed up and did their job. And it was
bunch of pros. It's a city of pros.
Because I mean, you guys probably both have, but I don't think it's something specific. But I know I've been to events before that involved multiple performances or whatever, and it's like, we'll be back in a little bit, and what are we doing, that kind of stuff. Every one of these events we talked about is just bam 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 bam,
and everyone's flexible. I'm like, okay, you want me a third spot, this, that, okay, cool. So but when it came to the mixing of different musicians, were you the one that says, okay, Seth, you stay with Josh? You know what I'm saying? Or did other people have suggestions? Like,
nah, we just decided amongst ourselves. We first said, hey, here's a list of songs primarily to choose from. If you want to pick a couple of these, possibly something else, let us know. We wanted to focus it on really the classic era for this piece, which almost every song was, or a couple of exceptions, which is fine.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
For the Kiss fans out there, what was the range that because you didn't go past a certain year, correct?
The original makeup lineup, in makeup is what we're talking about.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep. Now we did have, like Jess did War Machine, Josh did Creatures of the Night, I think,
and Brian Pinlack was not one of the original members as far as makeup.
No,
I can never remember. It was Eric
Carr.
Eric Carr.
Yeah. He did the makeup as Fox.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you can tell I didn't grow up in the Kiss. I don't know all the characters, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. It was so cool to see him and Kevin Page
do
fantastic. Beth, and the different combinations that you'll never see, much like, again, back to the Pete celebration. Yep. It's neat to see combinations of musicians that you never see.
It's great.
It makes for a really special night.
Yeah, and something worth mentioning, because I don't I don't know if this was mentioned on the other. It was a largely unrehearsed event. I don't know if Thomas probably didn't.
I don't think
mention
he
that.
You
mentioned
didn't go
that.
into the band stuff much, yeah.
Yeah, basically people picked their songs, got their assignments, off you went. We did one night where we said, hey, if anyone wants to come run stuff, we're going to do it Monday night.
Oh, I was there for that night.
Were you?
Yeah, I came upstairs to hang out.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So that night, so we, the house band, we did surely not even half. We did. We ran through a few things, and then we had probably just, I think, Jeff Adams, Scott Sudbury. I think that's it as far as who came by.
Ronnie Knight was there the night I hung out. Ronnie Knight.
Sorry, I think of him as the house band.
Jimmy Falk was getting on bass when needed.
Yeah.
You know, you guys were just jamming out. Seth was there.
Yep.
I think Scott was walking out when I popped in.
Yep. But the point is, the vast majority of that was completely unrehearsed. It was, once again, just goes back to all these people are so great that who else could do that?
Yeah.
And 30 players play 30 songs. They all sound like they've been playing them for years, basically, I thought.
And anytime this comes up, we have to bring up Kelsey.
Yes.
Yep.
Because she did all the makeup. Tell us more about Kelsey and what she did.
I knew she was great at makeup from just being friends, because she would always do these Halloween
Yes. Yeah.
design, and that's where it came on
I remember
my
seeing
radar.
those,
Was
yeah.
seeing those, like, this is amazing. And so when we started the Merry Kissmas, and she was at Hadley's, of course, I asked her, would you do it? And so she would charge people whatever, and then she would end up either donating rather, part or in whole back to the cause, which was, I think she donated everything back to the cause for the Lafayette's one.
Good on you, Kelsey.
Yeah, and she does a fantastic job. In fact, we line it up where, hey, if you want Kelsey to do your makeup, let her know. And a number of the people didn't do that for whatever reason, but she still squeezed them in, like Brian in doing the Fox.
Right.
I literally saw it happen. He comes back there, hey, can you do this? Okay. Boom.
Done.
And you knew right from the get-go you were going to be ace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to be ace. Of course.
Yeah, at the Merry Kissmas.
I was waiting for you to light your guitar on fire in the pickup section.
In the Merry Kissmas, I did. The internet's this amazing thing, but I did a bunch of research just to see what do you got to do that, and it gets either you're going to use a really goofball looking version and cause damage to your instrument, or
Right.
you kind of have to dedicate. Okay, this is going to be my smoking guitar.
Yeah.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to light them on
No.
fire and then continue to play them like normal.
You should have just gone to like some
Right.
pawn shop, got like $100 guitar, and
Yeah, but it gets really involved to do it
Oh,
right.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
but I did look into it, and to me, that would only make sense to do if you were like in a Kiss tribute or
A
something
full-time
like that.
tribute band. Yeah.
well, it was awesome. I got to see the whole night. It was fantastic. And I didn't know a lot of the songs, to be straight up. I didn't grow up on Kiss, but you didn't have to know the songs.
Right.
It was just such, not only the production, but the bands, the music, just kicked ass. And you got to see Jimmy Falk up there lead, being front man, which is great. You got to see these things you don't see ever. All right, so we've covered all the Kiss stuff we can at this point. Now let's move to the Stagestop Reunion, which was, for me, epic in my own way, because I've never experienced these bands. I'm not from here, and it gave me an opportunity to see what once was.
Yep.
But for so many, they got to see bands that they loved and missed. So tell us more about that and how it all got started, and everything that you did for it.
Okay, sure. So that was Joe Smith's idea, and it's something that he'd talked about for years, really, as I recall it. Finally he just said to me, or maybe I was bugging him, but I don't remember. It's probably bugging him. I like bugging people. Hey, let's get this thing going. So we did, and we formed a little committee with Jimmy Falk was involved, and Angela Greshy was involved, and started. I remember we had a couple Zoom calls, and we were just kind of kicking around additional ideas, or initial ideas, I guess I should say, about well, where can we have it? Who should we, just kind of because it was like, okay, well, we want to do something. What? And it was really, I mean, it is a Stagestop reunion, but the idea was actually to celebrate Nita Makris and her contribution because, to many, many people, both in this region and really nationally, they know who she is, and she did a lot. I mean, it might have been, she provided a forum for a lot of those bands that really, some of the ones that got signed and stuff, if it weren't for her, it wouldn't have happened.
Absolutely.
For a number of reasons, so she deserves a ton of recognition. And in my view, she really wasn't on the local leadership radar, if you will.
Yeah. We had bands like Play Rough that played here, through the circuit and then moved here.
Yep.
Because they realized the scene here was great.
Yeah.
All thanks to Stagestop.
Anyway, we started kicking around ideas, and there's just a lot to figure out. When are you going to have it? Where are you going to have it? How are you going to charge for it? Are you going to charge for it? There's just a lot. Who's going to be in it? How do you? So I do remember, I think I had suggested, well, you know what? If we can, because there was a whole list of possible band names, and I think I was the one that said, if Lord Tracy's willing to do this, then for my money, if we can get them, you tell us what date you can do it, and then the rest will just fall into place.
Yep.
And we'll center it around that because, the fact that they're distributed across the country and so on. And I remember I contacted Chris Craig, and he immediately was like, absolutely, let me get with the guys. We'd love to do it.
And they brought it.
I got a Terry Glaze story.
Oh, love to hear it.
If you want. Okay. You guys already know very well, Lord Tracy was an amazing band, and to me, they were another victim of the grunge, the grunge wall, whatever you want to call it, where they came out just so shortly before that labels overnight changed their focus and all that stuff. Otherwise, I think a few years earlier would have been
it's a common story in this room from so many musicians and bands.
Yeah. And it's a true story. It's not an excuse. It's true.
Yep.
But I remember, because when I first went to Stagestop, I was underage, but I wasn't the only one they ever.
That's a pretty common story too.
Yeah. And at one point, Stagestop, I don't know if everybody's ever mentioned this to you guys, they had live music 6 nights a week. Every single night except Monday, I think it was. Every single night. And they had, this band house, so these traveling bands, would stay there and all that stuff, just like Jimmy and them did that, right? But anyway, I'd go up there. Lord Tracy always packed in the crowds, and I mean, just for a variety of reasons. And you guys saw that at the reunion event. But I mean, the energy and the personality and so forth is just incredible. And I'll never forget one time. It must have been on Halloween because I remember Terry Glaze was dressed like Elvis. So they played their first song, I guess, or two, whatever it was, and then he does some stage rap with the crowd, right? And I remember he goes, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking right now. Is that a banana in my pocket, or am I just happy to see you? And he sticks his hand down his pants and pulls a banana out. He said, that's a banana in my pocket, and I'm glad to see you. So he's like, he starts peeling the banana. He's like taking a bite or two. He's like, so anyway, what was I saying? I mean, that's the kind of shenanigans that just were nonstop. It's like magic.
Well, they walked out to drop the bomb on you.
Yeah.
And they're all dancing. They had this little walk that they did together, and Chris Craig is standing on his drums. And this is a big gentleman here.
Right.
He's a tall man. He's and he's standing on his floor tom and all dancing. And I'm sitting here being like, man, this is cool. Yeah. And like I said earlier, I got a piece of what once was.
Yeah.
So it was special for me. Who are some of the other bands? We had Roxy Blue.
Yeah,
we had Play Rough.
Paul, hold up the.
Yeah,
this
so
is the lanyard from the show.
So my friend Jamie Wilson Coggins we gave away these lanyards, and I sent you guys an image of the flyer.
Yep.
So if you want to show that up.
Yep.
But yeah, everybody that attended got one of these.
And the bands are listed.
Yeah, so list off the bands that played.
Yeah, so Lord Tracy, Every Mother's Nightmare,
That's
Play Rough, Hand Me Downs, Roxy Blue, Thrust.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those were the bands.
And I was there for every ounce of it. It was great.
Yep.
It was so cool to see.
Yep. And so we charged something at the door. I think maybe it was $10. Mm-hmm. And the original idea was we were going to give it to Nita's family for medical stuff because she's been going through a lot already at that time. But her daughter Nina said, "Oh, we just want you guys to make it a celebration, and there was concern about is she even going to be able to come or not, which of course she did. So we had this money. It's like, well, what do you do with it? So all the bands were doing it 100% for free. But what I decided to do was basically take it and people that just started with the people that had to travel in, try to at least cover their costs.
Sure.
And then from there, just kind of give some out because, people just don't realize there's cost in playing locally and all that.
Yeah.
So,
like you mentioned, and I don't know that any of the money went to these guys, but I will say that the guys in Lord Tracy, they come from a long distance. There's one that lives in Texas. There's one that lives in
Alabama,
Nashville, Alabama,
and Maryland.
Yeah. So it's a long way.
Yeah.
And they were at the top of the list as far as, and they all were going to do it for 100% for no charge whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't something we didn't even mention it until it was after it was over.
Right.
And then this is the night that Kinley Wolf blows my mind. I don't know who Kinley Wolf is going into this show. Don't know what to expect. And this Lord Tracy it was like an explosion happened in that room.
Right.
And I feel fortunate, Jeff and I have, had Chris in here twice. Kinley came all the way up from Dallas. Several episodes ago.
Friends of the show. I love it.
It's so cool. Yeah. And I was glad I got to see them play before meeting them.
Yeah.
That was cool. So I had that reference point.
Yep.
And that was awesome. But thanks for all the work on that. Again, Joe Smith, you, Jimmy Fulp, and
Angela Goreshi.
Yep. Thanks. That was awesome. And it was great for me, like I said. All right, now we have Fall Fest. Now, this is something that's coming up in October. I see here October 18th and 19th. It's a benefit. And I see 38 special headlines. So there's a lot going on there. So tell us more about Fall Fest.
Yeah, and I'm not directly involved in it. I just wanted to give it a quick shout out for a couple of reasons.
Cool.
But so my good friends, Stephanie Wilson, Jamie Wilson, Kathy Chavone are the chairs of it. They've done it for several years. It was at a couple different schools. This year it's moved to benefiting Room at the Inn Memphis, which is a nonprofit homeless ministry. And so it'll be a really big event again. They have multiple events around it. So there's like a golf tournament and all kinds of stuff like that. But the main part of it with rides and all that is October 18 and 19, like you said. And there's a number of bands playing on like a festival stage on the 18th. Both Rock the Boat and Thump Daddy are going to do that. And then on October 19 is the headline event, and Shotgun Billy's will open for 38 Special. Which
Very
is awesome.
cool. Yes.
So the tickets are available at fallfestmemphis.org. So please plan to attend and go out there and get your tickets and support this worthy cause.
Thanks for doing that. That's awesome. All right, now let's talk about your moment that you got to play with Cory Glover. So I want all the pre-story as far as what this show was. What was the name of it? It was something on the beach. What was it?
It's now called The Sands.
Okay.
It's an event in Cancun, and it's gone on for several years. I'm not sure how far back. It was initially called 80s in the Sand.
Yeah.
And then, the guy that owns it or runs it or whatever decided to rebrand it as The Sand so that he could maybe spread it out beyond the 80s, with, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Although it was really pretty much all 80s. But Jeff Adams, you may or may not know, and like a lot of people that are musicians for a living, John Roth does it too. They'll back up people in addition to playing in their band. Sometimes it's literally a, hey, can you come play bass or sing at this event? Sometimes they'll tie it in where Starship is performing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember they did I think it was a Mediterranean cruise last year where Starship, the band, performed. But Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's performed as a solo artist. So it's a win-win for everybody because she doesn't bring a whole band. She typically they'll bring like a one person guy, whatever, that's like their musical director that he can interface with the others, you know, to make sure everything's. But it saves that artist if they're more of a solo artist from the overhead of pulling a band, and then they're already there, so they throw them a chunk of change, and they are going to kill it. So
and you get to play with all these different artists. That's
exactly
cool.
Yeah. So the Sands, Jeff somehow got involved in that, and for several years he's played as part of this backup band there. You know, for certain artists in a similar situation,
right?
And so this past year, I had the opportunity to go. It was a blast. And then Jimmy Fulp, through the Jeff connection, ended up going.
Hey, yo.
You're right. I said Jimmy Fulp.
Hey,
yo. Yeah, so he ended up playing drums for it because the drummer that they've used for the last few years ended up having to cancel out for some reason. Okay. And so there was this pool stage, and on one of the days a number of these solo artists played. So this year it included Katrina from Katrina and the Waves, Walking in Sunshine.
Cool.
That. The girl from the band Pretty Poison had a Catch Me I'm Falling was the big hit. I'm trying to remember Tiffany.
Okay.
Right?
The mall singing chick? Yeah.
She did some, and it's interesting how they do that because he has a bunch of 80s movie stars like from the Breakfast Club or whatever there, and then people like this that literally they come down there, they do like a couple songs, they're done. Yeah. So they had an afternoon where they supported all these artists, and that included Jimmy Fulp. Did I mention that?
Yep.
Hey, yo. And there was one earlier, I promise you guys, you mentioned Jimmy, there was no Fulp. And you didn't play the sound.
That's
so
the way
I feel like it's got to be the entire name for the sound to get played.
Yeah.
Well, I will be editing this, so you will see Scott Hall on the screen. But anyways.
That's fine.
Right. So.
So anyway, so they were doing their thing that day. I remember Jimmy even ended up, I don't remember how that happened because they played kind of some cover songs and things like that. I remember Jimmy singing an AC/DC song. I'm trying to remember why, but
Jimmy who?
Jimmy Fulp.
People are gonna get so tired of this.
Yeah.
Hey yo.
Yeah, but which by the way, that event is so cool because it has a lot of different genres. Like, there were some. Night Ranger was there.
Cool.
But then you had like Midnight Star was there. Then you had the singer from Thompson Twins was there.
Nice.
So all this different stuff.
And who did you play with?
Yeah, Cory Glover was there.
Yeah, so Jimmy and Jeff were doing their thing that day. And Cory Glover, who's the singer from the band Living Colour, awesome band, was there. He's basically was there just hanging out.
Cool.
He and or his band have performed there in the past, but he's just friends with the guy, and I think he just invited him down or whatever. But he decided off the cuff, hey, I want to sit in and do a couple songs or whatever. So
no, sorry, man. We're not going to be we're not going to accommodate you.
Right.
Yeah, of course, you say yes to that.
Yeah. So he asked the band, hey, can you do Purple Rain? Jimmy, of course, could play anything. Jeff, of course, but the other guys, they didn't know the song. So Jeff goes, I know somebody who can do it. So he sent Lindsay over, and she was like, they need you. What? I mean, I'm at the pool drinking, hanging out, you know. So Cory Glover wants you to come do Purple Rain. I was like,
you're like, what the hell?
I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this because I mean, you guys, and if you see the video, it's Donna shot the best one. I think Donna Fulp, not Jimmy Fulp, Donna Fulp. And it's kind of zoomed in though. I mean, there's probably there's all these cabanas and all that. There's a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, if they didn't know Tennessee whiskey, Derek and I would have just been screwed.
Right. So yeah, so it's and I've played the song. So I'm supposed to walk over there, walk on stage, grab this guy's guitar, knock this song out with any discussion, any rehearsal, anything. Yes. So I remember going back behind the stage, and Jeff was like, well, are you good to do it? And I was like, I guess.
It's kind of late to be asking me that now.
You're in now.
So I get up there, and there's no discussion at all as far as, hey, we're going to, the arrangement will be like this. It was just go.
Just play.
So, but it was an amazing opportunity, man. He killed. They all did, but Cory Glover, I mean, he kills that song.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it or not. So it was.
I did see it. It's been a while. This was what, over a year ago?
It was actually last November.
Oh, well,
close to it.
Yeah.
So how did it go?
So great.
Made it through the song.
What's that?
You made it through the song?
Yeah, it went just fine. If you watch the video, you'll know, maybe people wouldn't notice as much. It doesn't matter, but I'm literally kind of like eyes on him.
Yeah.
Especially because we basically sort of did the song and then got to the guitar solo and I did it. And then after that, I didn't know what he was going to do. I was like, well, I'm going to assume he's going to do the oohs and I'll just, But when, I remember when he walked off stage, for whatever reason, because of the setup, we actually could not really hear him anymore. So I was trying to watch him for physical cues, you know what I mean? But yeah, it went just fine.
Cool.
What a killer opportunity.
I mean, just from out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
You're just sitting by the pool and, hey, do you want to play with a legend?
Yeah.
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 But that's how it is when you have the right friends.
With my luck, it'd be Dream Theater.
Yeah, come on up and play drums on. Yeah.
I got no shot, man. No, can't do it.
Yeah.
Dream Theater.
Yeah.
Wow, so much. So much. Paul, this has been fun.
It's been awesome.
It's been a good time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming up and
Big fan
doing
of the show. Told you that, for real.
We appreciate that. And
thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a fan of the show, man. It's just been, this was a pleasure. And you talked. You freaking reached out to me last week and you're like, man, I don't know if I got enough to talk about. Give me a break. Awesome. This was great.
Yeah, and you send us notes ahead, so that was helpful, but it can't be understated. You got Merry Christmas, Merry Kissmas, Tommy Awards, Stagestop Reunion, the Kiss Anniversary Show. What you do for the community is massive too, because you're doing all that on your own time, and the effort that you commit to all that is outstanding.
Thank you
for that. And we're waiting for the podcast awards whenever you're ready to start putting that together. No, but for real, man, thank you. And
thank you.
We're not going to say bye quite yet, Jeff. We're going to talk to the audience as we usually do here at the end. If you made it this far, good on you. Thank you.
I'm taking this. Shut up. You've been talking all this whole thing.
Fucking wrong song.
See? What'd you do?
Shut up, man.
No, we should talk more about Jimmy Fallon.
Hey, yo.
Okay,
follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Rhythm Section Pod. The website is therhythmsectionpod.com. Big thank you to our band sponsors.
So dumb.
Remember to join us for our exclusive Sunday replay series where we bring back all of your favorite interviews on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, and it doesn't have this on it, so that's a plus.
What are you talking about? This is awesome. The bucket. The tip bucket. Links in descriptions, and you can search The Rhythm Section Pod on both Venmo and Cash App, and email us your questions.
Yeah.
We want to have a lot of fun with that. The Rhythm Section Pod 2022 at gmail.com. Paul Moreau, everybody. Great job. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you.